John Cena has been spotted with stars from All Elite Wrestling, and we have a big update on the expiring contracts of the Elite. But first, we have some news coming out of Waterbury, Connecticut, where an ECW legend has been displaced. Following a fire that swept through an apartment complex on March 6th, former ECW World Heavyweight Champion Justin Credible and his family have been left without a home. The fire department was called to the Bradley Avenue complex at 3:40 p.m. on Monday, with them being able to prevent the fire from spreading to the other units on the site. Credible lived on the 3rd floor of the affected complex. Luckily, NBC Connecticut has reported that no one was injured during the incident, with residents being able to self-evacuate. Justin and his family are now being assisted by the Red Cross. Next, let's get to some AEW news, as the departing Vickie Guerrero has revealed that she was asked to stay away from the recent tapings of AEW Rampage, which will see her former client Nyla Rose, accompanied by Marina Shafir, take on Riho in singles action, and Vickie would take to Twitter to say, "AEW requested for me to stay home and I am not at events. I have no doubts that the Vicious Vixens, Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir will have the fans witness a destructive match against Riho." It was recently reported by Fightful that Vickie was on her way out of AEW, with the two parties agreeing not to renew her deal, although it remains to be seen if the tweet will lead to a return at some stage. Next up, Cody Rhodes would appear on the Out of Character podcast this week, where he was asked about a potential WWE return for his wife Brandi Rhodes, who has yet to appear in a WWE arena since his own comeback took place. According to Cody, Brandi is working on some other projects, but wouldn't rule out an appearance from his wife and valet, and Rhodes would say, "Never say never in the wrestling business. I wouldn't rule it out, but she absolutely loves watching what I'm doing. She's got some stuff that she's working on secretly, unrelated." New Japan Pro Wrestling is set to return to California later this year, with the Resurgence pay-per-view set to air live from the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach on May 21st. It was also revealed that the show will initially air live on pay-per-view before being broken up into 4 episodes of NJPW Strong for the New Japan World streaming service. No matches or names have been announced for the show as of this recording, although we can expect to see many of the company's biggest names hit California in 2 months' time. Paul White, formerly known as The Big Show in WWE, would join All Elite Wrestling in February 2021, mostly appearing as a commentator on Dark Elevation. However, White has competed in the ring a handful of times, although not since his March 2022 win over Austin Green on Elevation. Speaking on the Deuce and Mo podcast this week, Paul would reveal that he does plan on wrestling again in AEW, but has been dealing with some issues outside of the ring, and he would say, "Working hard, training hard to get back in the ring, which will hopefully happen real soon. I've had a hip replacement and just got a knee replacement done in August, which sounds like the end of an athlete's career, but modern technology, I'll tell you, I feel better joint-wise than I've felt in the past 15 years. Now it's about getting the muscles stronger and having a bit more fun. I have a couple years left in AEW for sure, signed a nice healthy contract when I came over, and I plan on making good on that contract in AEW for Tony Khan and myself." If you've been on social media this week, you've likely seen this new meme of WWE superstar Liv Morgan at the recent New York Knicks game, looking less than interested in what the man sitting next to her had to say. Speaking on the viral incident this week on WWE The Bump, Morgan would confirm that the man in question is Senior Vice President of Live Event Marketing Justin Scalise, with her assuring fans that she was in fact listening to what he was saying, I think, and Liv would reveal, "It's so weird to me what goes viral and what doesn't. I mean, first of all, I want to say we had no idea that we were even being filmed. We had no idea that the camera was on us, which doesn't excuse anything, but that is Justin Scalise, who works here for WWE. He's incredible. He was explaining something to me and I was watching the game and I was listening, but I was also kind of deep in my head thinking my own thoughts. I was like in my own world, so unaware that this was being filmed. My phone was blowing up and I saw this message and I was like, oh my god, Justin, I'm so sorry, and he's been such a good sport about it. It was just the most bizarre, weirdest thing. Let's say I was ignoring him. It is Women's History Month." AEW World Champion MJF would walk out of the Revolution pay-per-view with his title belt still in his possession. However, he would also be rocking a huge lump on his head, which he confirmed to be a hematoma. Taking to Twitter last night, Max would post a brand new photo of his injury, revealing that the lump has now travelled down to his eye, with it looking gruesome to say the least, and Max would write, "The blood in the hematoma, devil horn, on my forehead has now pooled down into my eye. Still the champ though, and the rats don't seem to mind." Elsewhere in the world of MJF, his appearance on the Impractical Jokers TV show would air last night, which was taped last summer, with his interactions with strangers being well received on social media, with the scenes being heavily praised by all. Next, we have a brief update on WWE's attempts to legalize gambling on their predetermined match results. We went into detail on how exactly this would work on last night's news video, so check that out after this one if you haven't already. But for now, we have a new report from CNBC, which reveals that on top of discussions with Colorado and Michigan, WWE have now reached out to Indiana. They would also reveal a lack of progress on the Colorado side of things, with the report noting, WWE has already registered with the Indiana Gaming Commission, a move related to this initiative, one of the people said. The Colorado Division of Gaming told CNBC it is not currently considering and has not considered allowing sports betting wagers on WWE matches. A spokesperson noted Colorado currently has a statute prohibiting wagers on events with fixed or predicted outcomes, including the Academy Awards. WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus would recently make her return to the company, linking up with Lita and Becky Lynch to even the odds in their ongoing feud with Damage Control's Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. We now have an update on the long-term future of Stratus, who looks set for a rivalry with one of her current allies. According to WRKD Wrestling on Twitter, the plan is for an eventual singles match with current women's tag champion Becky Lynch, with the report noting, the long-term plan, as of this moment, is that Trish Stratus will turn heel and work a program with Becky Lynch through SummerSlam. And before we get to the rest of today's stories, be sure to subscribe to Wrestle Planet if you haven't done so already, as we aim to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And also head over to Wrestle Planet Gaming if you're into wrestling video games, ahead of the launch of both AEW Fight Forever and WWE 2K23. But with that said, let's get to the rest of the video. Stu Grayson is set to return to All Elite Wrestling next week, with the promotion confirming on Twitter that he is set to link up with old Dark Order friends Evil Uno and Hangman Page on Dynamite to take on the Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, with this being his first AEW match since April 2022. Grayson would depart the company back in May 2022 after the two sides were unable to agree terms on a new deal, with him having wrestled in the independent circuit ever since, although it remains to be seen if the match is a one-off or if he is back under contract with AEW. Impact Wrestling star Taya Valkyrie is now officially a free agent, with PW Insider recently reporting that she finished up with the promotion after their recent tapings in Las Vegas. It was also noted that the belief internally was that the former Impact Knockouts champion had signed elsewhere, although the company in question wasn't named. Interestingly, AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill would recently issue a challenge to any Canadian woman for a title shot next week on AEW Dynamite in Winnipeg, and you guessed it, Valkyrie is in fact from Canada. With that said, this isn't confirmation that Taya will fill the mystery spot in the title match, but the timing appears to line up perfectly. If this is the case, she would add a ton of talent and experience to the AEW women's division, having held titles all across the world for promotions including Impact, AAA, and MLW. A photo of WWE superstar John Cena has emerged on social media, with him being in the presence of two All Elite Wrestling talents. The image shows John at Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory training facility alongside many students, as well as Coach QT Marshall, who just made his return to AEW television to aid Powerhouse Hobbs in his TNT Championship victory. As well as QT, Nick Comoroto can be spotted, who himself is a member of the AEW roster. The school's official Twitter page would tweet out the photo earlier today, thanking the multi-time world champion for his time with them, writing, "The GOAT graces Camp 9 as the guest speaker. Thank you, John Cena, for coming to the Nightmare Factory. Nobody better to fire them up for their showcase on March 23rd. #respect, #do the work. Thank you." Next, we have some big news on the AEW contracts of the Elite, whose deals are coming closer to an end. According to today's Wrestling Observer newsletter, AEW are working on signing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega to new long-term deals, with the plan being to get these secured before they can become free agents, later this year in Omega's case and in the new year in the Bucks' case. With that said, there's no word on how the negotiations have progressed or what the potential terms may be, although we'll likely hear further updates as the weeks and months roll on. on. What we can say, however, is that All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan see the Elite in their long-term plans, with it now depending on if the feeling is mutual or if they have their eye on moves elsewhere. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 more upcoming wrestling free agents that you need to know.